She wouldn't go for it. Well, our next comedian, just like one of my favorite funny people of all time. The only problem is, for years when he performed here on this stage and also for First Night Eugene Celebration, he would come totally unprepared. Not one thing written, not one thing thought about, and he would be the funniest person on the stage. For that I wanted to smite him, but we're okay now. And he came here all the way from San Francisco just to give you his comedy stylings. It's Nick Hoffman.
Came prepared. Well, watching Jennifer, I was struck by a couple things. One, there's porn on the internet. I've been looking up lame-ass facts and stuff. That's cool. And second, Jennifer's a lesbian? Did you notice when all the comics come up, they punish the stand? You over here. You're gone. I need the stand though, I don't know why, it's a security stand. I have some written material that happened while I was watching the show. First of all, did anybody else get really hot when Hannah was talking about her uneven boobs? I had been married, and I think when you're married, suddenly you start to think as options like that, like, oh cool, they switch. They used to be right there, and now they're here, now they're here. Hell, even the hair thing kind of got me, actually. I also thought it was really cool that her husband gives her regular orgasms. Not a thing to share, but I'm happy for it. So, something else that I was reminded of. I also bought Amish furniture, but I bought it factory direct from Pennsylvania. It took fucking 6 months to get it on the fucking plane. And it was dinged. I mean, you know, it's like you send it back. On to the written material. Well, for any of you that remembered me performing here, you may have noticed I have put on a little weight. Yeah, it's, I mean, to be fair, video does add 20 pounds to your appearance. And I've watched a lot of videos. I tried dieting. I went online to look up the facts of the low-carb diet, but I accidentally typed in Fatkins. And I don't know about you, but I was a little confused. Apparently, Supersize Me, not a fitness video. Actually, my problem is I do have a bit of a sweet tooth. I know all of you are good Eugenians, so none of you have ever been to Starbucks. But at Starbucks, in fact, I was just there. The world has changed. I was actually, when I was working on my material, which this is the hand-transcribed version, I'm on my computer at Starbucks and having my coffee, and I just thought, God, things have really changed. It's amazing how far, it's like Jetsons, how far we've come. And, oh, Starbucks, have you tried Shantico? Shantico. Sounds so sexy, Shantico. What it is, it's like this liquid magma chocolate, kinda. It's really thick, it's very intense. A friend of mine described it as, you know the little residue that happens at the bottom of a hot cocoa cup? It's a whole fucking cup of it. It's amazing. If you drink enough of it, when you cut yourself, you actually bleed chocolate. And I actually made the mistake of asking the girl if I could get it for here when she said for here to go. I swear to God, she looked like a German Shepherd that you just spoke to in a funny way. She's like, ooh. Can I get it in a cup for here? Ooh. She's like, do we have cups? I don't think we have cups. We sell cups. We don't have cups. Shantico is actually a Brazilian word coming from the Portuguese sham for chocolate, tico for crack. page. The news has become very bizarre. Really, really bizarre. I'm not sure if this is going to be funny or not, but it occurred to me, always a good way to start a joke. It's like starting sex with saying, I'm not sure if you're going to have an orgasm or not. Let's try this anyway. Give it a go. Give me your foot. I don't even know what that means. Sorry about the visual. So the president hires a guy to be the UN ambassador that hates the UN. He hires a guy that bombs small countries to be in charge of the World Bank, whose job it is to lend money to small countries. We have Congress investigating steroids in the major leagues and keeping us safe because God knows we don't want two people who love each other to be married because we want to protect the sanctity of an institution that has a crapshoot of a success rate. It's weird enough that I half expect myself to end up on a beach with a half-sunk Statue of Liberty going, damn filthy apes! I was worried about that punchline, but then he made a Cocoon reference. They've seen Planet of the Apes. Eugene wasn't always like that. At one point, people in Eugene didn't even have TVs. They didn't do anything pop-related. Thank you for opening the door. Steroid hearings. So Jose Canseco writes a book about his use of steroids, and then we get Mark McGwire, home run hitter, up on the stand, and they're asking him, they said, well, you know, can you tell us this, can you tell us this? And he goes, I won't talk about the past, I won't get myself in trouble, don't make me angry, you won't like me when I'm angry! Maybe he's on. The story there actually is totally missed. Jose Canseco wrote a book? I want to know what drugs he's on. Prince Charles and Camilla Bowles. Is that the right last name? I try to avoid English news, but they're getting married, and as you probably are aware of, it's been in the news lately. And they mentioned, now, by the way, just to remind you, these are not the most attractive people on the planet. I'll bag on British dentistry later, but the news mentioned that a portion of the ceremony would be televised. I'm looking at these two and I'm thinking, God, don't let it be the kiss. I actually had a friend who had applied for a British citizenship, and he was denied because of his dental records. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Your teeth are great. And he goes, no, that was the problem. I had dental records. If you're British, I'm sorry, but fuck you, we won. I'm still holding a grudge about the revolution. Fucking Brits. Leanne had told me that that a number of the people around here at the Actors Cabaret had the flu recently, and I got the flu really, really bad. I don't know if it was the Chinese flu or the Russian flu or the fucking shoot me in the face, I want to die flu. I don't know. But anyway, the thing I was thankful for is it reintroduced me to the love of NyQuil. They have a new version. It's the liquid gel cap. The secret: wash it down with the liquid NyQuil. I'm hallucinating. I'm seeing colors. I didn't necessarily get better any faster, but I did find my spirit guide to the netherworld. I'll go with you, yes. I still have my dog Lucas. He's the wonder dog. He's amazing, loyal, loving. Although when I was going through my hallucinations with the NyQuil, he comes in, you know, I'm sick and I need the companionship. I said, come here, come here. So he comes up to me, he's looking at me, and he's panting, and then I start panting. acting, you know, and so he looks at me again, kind of does the same thing the girl did, you know, and I start barking on, and he's like, fuck you, I'm out of here. You know, so I had him put down. I'm kidding, but when he finds out I told that joke, I'm in big trouble. So, what I've done since living here, I moved to Florida for a couple years to go to graduate school. I was the oldest student in my class, studying film. Lived in Tallahassee. It's important to note that Tallahassee is more South Georgia than it is Florida. The reason is important. When you think Florida, you think palm trees, bikinis, retired Jews. When you think of Tallahassee, you should think of like tree moss, NASCAR fans, guys named Jeb. Oh, you're absolutely right about the food, the deep fried food, ton of it, absolutely a ton of it in the South. But the one thing I did learn about Southern food is there's a big difference between hot, fresh buttered cornbread and hot, fresh buttered cornbread. Hot, fresh buttered cornbread is what you have at Marie Callender's with your chili. Hot, fresh buttered cornbread you can have for every fucking meal and dessert. That thing is good. They do deep fry everything though. Pickles, deep fried. Thanksgiving turkey, deep fried. Ham and cheese sandwich, battered, deep fried. Add powdered sugar, eat with jam. That's called a Monte Cristo. By the way, if you eat that and die from it, they don't cremate you, they deep fry you. This is going well, I may stay a while. After being in Tallahassee, I moved to Ventura, California. I grew up around those parts. Are you guys familiar with the store Big Five? The sports store? The thing about Big Five that strikes me as odd is they never seem to actually build their own building. If a shoe store closes down, Big Five will move into it. They never get their own building. They're like the hermit crab of the retail business. And in Ventura, I was driving down the road and I see a Big Five and I look at the building and I go, oh my God, because I'd grown up down there. When I was like 5 years old, my family had brought their blue chip stamps to get redeemed there. And I was so excited, like, I wonder if the building looks the same inside that it used to. So I go in there and I'm looking around, I'm just kind of enjoying it, you know. And Lisa walks up to me and she goes, can I help you? And I said, yeah, and I'm looking at her text, she goes, Lisa? And I go, Lisa, I don't really need any sporting goods. I was just, it's just so funny. When I was a kid, my family would bring blue chip stamps here and we would redeem them for prizes. And she's looking at me with that tilted head again and she goes, I just started. I don't know anything about that. I still wanted to have my moment, so I'm thinking about it and going, is the father of your manager here today? So I just recently got a haircut, in case you can't tell. I'm not sure what the style is called, although my girlfriend has taken to call it, don't worry, it'll grow out. In Ventura, I had a great hairstylist, a stylist. His name was Spanky. And that entails everything that you're imagining. I had been working in LA and commuting to Ventura, so I was spending a lot of time on the road. So when I had a day off, my time was very valuable to me. So I went to the hair place and I had an appointment with somebody I didn't know, some girl. And I'm sitting there waiting and I'm watching this guy, this little round, spiky haired guy cutting this other guy's hair. And he's doing a good job and everything. I'm kind of sitting there and all of a sudden it's 15, 20 minutes late. And my girl still isn't even here. And this gentleman had finished. And he looks at me and he goes, honey, do you want me to cut your hair? And I looked at my watch and I thought, yes, I do. And Spanky did a fabulous job. And Spanky, and you know, it came with kind of perks, sort of. I don't want to go too deeply into it, but I don't want you to run too far with it either. What I mean is, if I had a down day and I showed up at the salon, Spanky goes, "Come here, honey," gave me a kiss. Everybody's looking, but I'm a big guy. Fuck them, who cares, right? Just saying. I just got my hair. When I go to the hair person, I always bring a photo of the haircut I want. I normally get it from magazine, GQ, details, whatever. And I went to, because I had just recently moved to the Bay Area, not actually San Francisco, it's important I note that. It's also important I mention I have a girlfriend when I told I moved to San Francisco, especially with this haircut and the leather thing on my wrist. It just looks a little too fashionable, you know what I'm saying? Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's important for me to point it out because if I meet a young lady, I want to know that there is a chance that we could hit it off, and I want her to think, "You're not really available, are you?" So anyway, I bring the picture to this new girl in the new place I'm living, and I show her, and she looks at it. She seemed to understand what I wanted because she looked at it and nodded. And so then I sit down and she starts cutting my hair, and she clips the sides, and then she's cutting the top, and she's looking at it for a minute from behind me, and she goes, "I have to cut more off the top. It's not blending." And I thought, yeah, it doesn't look like it's blending. Okay, go ahead. So she cuts more off the top, at which point now it doesn't blend with the side. So she's cutting off the side. It's not blending. She cuts more. It's blending. So she goes for a while, and when she finishes, I'm just looking going, "Oh my God." And she goes, which they always say, "So what do you think?" Now the picture comes in handy. I said, "Do you see the picture? Does his hair look like my hair?" Now let me give you a clue. The operative word is within the question. Hair. He still has some. Do you see how you could possibly run your fingers through? That's right, his hair. He still has hair. If he was running, the wind would blow through his come on hair. That's right, exactly. She shampooed my hair afterwards to get what was remaining left out of it. And I go, "Hey, don't worry, I'll dry it." Thanks. Her again. Of course, it occurred to me earlier, actually at the tail end of this week, you remember when Dorothy Hamill had her specific haircut that was called the Dorothy Hamill. And then when Jennifer Aniston had her particular haircut, people went, "Oh, I want the Jennifer Aniston," or George Clooney, "I want the George Clooney." Sadly, I got the Scott Peterson. Convicted murderer Scott Peterson. So just by the mere fact that I mentioned I have a stylist, I suppose it's important that I come out to you. I'm metrosexual. Thank you. Just for those of you, because I do have friends that I've shared this joke with, and they go, "Metrosexual?" Of course, they're friends in Eugene. Sometimes you don't always get, well, you don't have television, so sometimes you listen. It's somebody who's heterosexually when it comes to sexual activity, but they're aware of fashion, design, colors. They like to shop. As I mentioned before, when I was moving up to the Bay Area and having friends that knew my ability to match fashion and shop and match colors and handy in the kitchen, I had to tell them, "Yes, I'm moving for a girl. I'm moving for a girl." I just wanted them to know. I just wanted them to be aware of it. I just want to sit with the salads for a minute. So anyway, this joke sprung out of the fact that we had an Oscar party. By the way, any straight man that says he has an Oscar party, he's metrosexual. And we were just going to have one of my girlfriend's friends from work, but then a few more were coming, so there was it became a small dinner party. And I thought, well, we should decorate. That's another clue for metrosexual. You say, we should decorate. So I went to Hallmark, bingo, another clue, that's right. And what I was looking for, because the food was going to be amazing. I'd share the details with you, but then your mouth would water. But so I thought we really need to make the table look nice. So I was going to get the gold tissue paper that you put in little bags when you do a gift bag. Another clue, guy that does a gift bag. And I wanted an accent color. Ding, 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 that's right, accent color. I said accent color. So I walk into the Hallmark store, and this girl gets up, and she says, can I help you? And I prefaced, I said, this is likely to sound as gay as I'm going to sound today, but I'm looking for either burgundy or cranberry tissue paper, because I thought that would look great. And she goes, okay, let me look. So she walks over and she picks up this pale red color. And if I had said what I was thinking, I would have sounded twice as gay as I sounded before, because what I was thinking is, honey, I thought you said you were going to help. By the way, I went with black and gold. It looked great. There was little black and gold boxes. It was a nice one. When I told the woman who is now my ex that she was going to become my ex, one divorced guy in the room goes, yeah! Get her! It was an evil little laugh. If you're not divorced, it's on the horizon. Anyway, when I told her, because of my strong-head metrosexuality, she said, you're gay, right? I said, no, I'm not gay. And then it occurred to me that perhaps my metrosexuality has gone too far at times and has confused people. And I thought of a few ways that that's happened. For example, if you come out of a dressing room in a pair of jeans as a guy and you say to your girlfriend, did these make my ass look fat? You may have cause for concern. If your girlfriend comes out in an outfit and you happen to say, you know what would be the perfect shoes and handbag for that? If you go to a friend's house and you compliment his wall sconce, his window treatments, or say, that is an awesome sage-colored throw pillow, it might be reason for concern. Also, if you happen to be with a group of friends and you see a woman walk by in white shoes and you go, white shoes, what month? Hello? So the girl I moved to the Bay Area for, her name's Courtney. She's getting her PhD in psychology. I tell you that because A, I think it's really sexy that she's so smart, and B, it makes me sound like a fucking daredevil. What man in his right mind would date a woman with psychological training? See, with a normal girl, a girl without psychological training, she goes, what are you thinking? With Courtney, she goes, and how does that make you feel? With the normal girl, what the hell's the next joke? It's right here. Where is it? Thinking? Feel? Oh, when you get in a fight, she goes, you know, I think you should maybe fix the screen door. With Courtney, when we get in a fight, she goes, you know, I want us to repair our container. With a normal girl, if sometimes you keep some of your feelings back because you don't want her to get angry. With Courtney, sometimes I keep my feelings back because if I piss her off, she'll bill me. We both are bibliophiles, not to be confused with the Michael Jackson fellow who apparently loves feet. Yes, no, some. The others are going, oh, yeah, it's harder. Anyway, I ended up doubling our library, which is great, although some of her books are just what you would expect, like Dream Analysis, I'm Okay, You're Okay. And then I got to the end of the bookshelf and I'm looking at Goddess with a Sword, The Angry Vagina. A little nervous. She sleeps, we both sleep a lot better with each other, although I woke up earlier than her the other day, and she was talking in her sleep, and she said, I need to unplug the drill. I'm like, angry vagina, drill. I removed all the power tools from the house. Better safe than sorry, I'm only saying. And then, I'm sure all of you have had spouses that woke up from a dream pissed off at you for something you did in the dream. This happened for the first time with us just the other day, and she goes, she seemed really angry, and I go, what's wrong? She goes, it was my dream. I'm mad at you for something you did in my dream. And I said, wow, knowing that dreams can be really filled with symbolism and all sorts of meanings. So I asked her, I go, well, you know, tell me what happened in your dream, what did I do? And she goes, well, I was mad at you because you didn't follow through on something you said you would do. And I said, God, what could that mean? It's so deep and credit card. It was right on the nose. It's all right, it's a first stinker, it's okay. When we got our new place, I didn't have work yet, and so I had more time to find the place. So I went to this house that was for rent. I met the lady, and I started trying to charm her, because I knew that when we really got down to what I brought to the table, it wasn't going to be that much. And so, you know, she said, well, we'll have to do a credit check. I said, you know, that's the only thing. I have less than perfect credit, which is a euphemism for saying it's and so she said, well, that's okay, we'll just go mostly on Courtney's credit. So she did a credit check for both of us, and she goes, you know, I can give you your credit report if you want. And I said, you know what, Courtney said she would really like that. She goes, yeah, she has a really good credit report. And then she didn't say anything. And I thought, you know, it's not so much bad credit, it's just my best protection for identity theft. About 2 weeks ago, somebody stole my identity. A week later, they called me, they wanted to give it back. They couldn't take their harassing phone calls. Or so I heard on the machine, because I don't answer the phone. Yeah. Okay, we'll try it. You know what? Now if it blows, you guys are going to go, should have left it. I did try internet dating, took out a personal on the computer. This was before Courtney and I got together, because afterwards she would read something into that. Actually, I was going to open this with, that's right, I was married the last time you saw me, unless the last time you saw me was in a chat room, and then I was single, wealthy, and well hung. I'm just kidding about the wealthy part. Personal ads on the computer are not everything you kind of hope for. You look at the picture and you're thinking, God, that'd be great, but that's not the person that shows up to the date. And one of the dates I had in particular, the picture was really sweet. It was like one of those, like, it wasn't her senior picture, but she was posing the same way, you know, kind of forward. You know, it was very cute. And then, so I called her and we're talking and kind of hitting it off. I mean, it's nice. She was interested in film. I was interested in film. And I said, well, why don't we get together? And she goes, well, why don't we meet at Borders, and that way we can grab a coffee and maybe look at some books. And I said, okay, sounds great. So I got there a little early, and I was a little nervous because I hadn't been dating in a while, and so I'm waiting, and in walks this woman that looks somewhat familiar. Not very familiar. And I had seen a photo, and she should have looked familiar, you know? So I'm looking at her, and I'm kind of closing one eye and squinting a little bit, until oh, that's her. So I came up and I introduced myself, and first of all, let me just take a side note. Does Leanne look amazing? Right? You look great. Where are you?
Right here.
Hi, you look like $1 million. Because I'm about to bag on redheaded people, and I wanted to make sure you felt good. You do look good, but I knew I was going in territory like this. Anyway, she had red hair, and sometimes red-haired people, they've been punished by God because they're not allowed to go out in the sun, so they have to wear a lot of clothing, and red limits their options. So at some point in a red-haired person's life, they just go, fuck it. So she was in purple jeans with sparklies, leopard print shoes, a bright red top, and a multicolored scarf. So I, kind of getting over that, Will I get some coffee? She goes, oh, I don't like coffee. It was your idea. That's not what I said outside. I said, okay, well, I'll get you something else then. That'd be great. So we walk over there, and she gets a tea, and I get something. And then the thing happened that actually kind of ruined the evening for me. It's going to sound somewhat superficial, but if I'm not already somewhat superficial to you anyway, that's okay. She turned around to walk towards the books, and her ass, which should have been there, was in her back. It was as if she had taken her pants at the waistband, pulled them up underneath her arms, and her ass went with it and stayed there. It was disconcerting because I thought if we sit down, she's not going to be able to see over the top. Needless to say, we didn't exactly have a lot of chemistry. Actually, there's not enough chemistry known to man to make me look at her and think she was hot. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that is a little superficial, I'm sorry. The next date went better. The picture was kind of cuter. We flirted more on the phone. I thought this was a good sign. We met at Chili's. Always a great choice. And we went in. Now, Chili's has these upside-down brass kettles for lights, and they throw a light almost exactly on the table, which means if you're not actually leaning in, there's not a lot of light on you, you know? And so I'm thinking, God, she looks really cute. And then she leaned in to eat something, and her goatee and mustache were thicker than mine. They were blonde, but they were thick. So the next day, we talked on the phone, and apparently it didn't work out for her either. And she said, well, I gotta tell you, if you were going for tiger, you only hit pussycat. And I thought, well, I don't even know what that means, but if we're talking about fur, you're the one with the fur. So I figure after bearded lady and ass on the back, I was done with the circus. I actually met Courtney on the computer, on chat. We're in a long-distance relationship, and that being said, I had only tried cyber sex only recently. It's funny, I can hear the shift in the room a little bit, the same shift that happened when Jennifer mentioned masturbation. We're going into the same neighborhood. It's important for you to understand this. Just because if somebody mentions it, you should know. You should be informed. Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe said that. It's masturbation with a partner who isn't there, so it's actually masturbation while typing. Again, sorry for the mental imagery, although for some of you, you're welcome for the mental imagery. Now, when guys masturbate, and the guys that aren't too afraid to say so can back me up on this, we're not doing this for endurance. We want to get our shit done before the commercial's over. Besides snacking, masturbation is the other thing we waste time with. It's just what we do. But when you're having cyber sex, you're masturbating and you have to consider another person. So you have to ask yourself, well, I am just masturbating, but is it supposed to go longer? I'm not sure. So, I should mention that masturbation is kind of the secret handshake that we only know. You know what I mean? Although I dated a girl who knew the secret handshake, that was disconcerting. It was nice because she knew it, but then I thought, how did she learn that? So anyway, you're getting into it, and I was at the computer, talking to someone, presumably a girl, I have no idea, it's just font. One hopes. As long as she doesn't say anything to ruin the illusion, I don't care really. Now the guys that were with me about the masturbation thing are like, I'm not with you anymore. You're a sicko. So anyway, you're trying to build a mood, you know, so I'm throwing out innuendos and trying to get the thing going, you know, and you're trying to be smooth, you know. And so while I'm throwing out these innuendos, which are subtle, but God knows not too subtle because you want to get this over with soon, she says, your imagination must be working overtime. To which I typed back, oh, my imagination is working overtime, and there's other body parts that are ready for work, just haven't clocked in yet. That got her. This is why I need my friend microphone stand. Not that I'm going to demonstrate everything. Sorry, not my usual equipment. For this demonstration. So anyway, so she types in, she goes, why don't you lick your finger and touch your nipple? Was that you? This is so cool. So I'm like, okay. And I don't want to fake it, I want to be participative, you know, so I... that's what you say when you're enjoying it. And as far as I know, because this was the first and only time I ever did this. So she goes, "Did you like that?" And I said, "OMG, oh my God, yes, M. That comes in handy later, because you can do it with one finger. So anyway. So she goes, "Why don't you caress your stomach and your rippled abs?" Okay, I didn't use my real picture. What's the big deal? There's at least a 6-pack in there, maybe even a 12-pack right there. Okay. So we're getting kind of high, you know, and so she goes for it. She goes, "Why don't you touch your manhood?" A euphemism, I thought. Okay. So I'm just getting ready to. And the girl goes, "Shantico for Nick Hoffman?" BRB. I'm not welcome back at that Starbucks, let me just tell you. Thank you very much. It was nice.
Are we glad it came down from the Bay Area or what? And you can pick up your $20 later for the nice things you said to me. By the way, it didn't really